Hello and welcome back to Focus Atlanta. Thank you so much for continuing to watch. Well, we are going to close out the show with something very special. I'm here with Rashad Richey. We're going to talk a little bit about your activism in this Atlanta mayoral race. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Keisha.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. You're looking great.
Now, I got to tell you, there are a lot of people in this race. Let's start there. How many people are running?
Yeah, you got like 16, 17 people running, okay? And the major candidates, if you can call them that, these are the ones that actually get polled when they're polling, when there's polling data. You have about 8 or 9 that are considered major. Right, correct.
Wow. So people are, at this point, when it's this early, are people kind of thinking about specific issues as they're trying to weed out this large?
Yeah, some people are.
Okay.
Okay, so let's break down how this is turning out now.
Okay.
The most recent poll showed Mary Norwood as the commanding leader in the Atlanta mayoral race.
Okay.
But she is not the commanding leader as far as fundraising. Right. Caesar Mitchell, the president of City Council, is the commanding leader with money. Mary Norwood, as you know, almost defeated Kasim Reed, Mayor Reed, in a runoff election. She lost by 714 votes, which is less than 1% of the electorate that voted. So she's still a favorite for a lot of people. Yeah. And the corruption scandals that have come out of City Hall, I think it has hurt, specifically hurt, black faces that are running for mayor.
Wow.
And the black voters being split because you have a lot of qualified African Americans running. You have Mary Norwood, who's able to more so consolidate that demographic of white voters who will vote in this mayoral election. But the scandal is hurting people like Caesar Mitchell, even though he's not connected to it. I think it's hurting the leadership that has been at City Hall, except for Mary Norwood for some reason.
Now, do we have any endorsement from Kasim Reed at this point?
You know, that's a very interesting question.
Because, you know, some people, you know, either that's going to count them out because he endorses them, or it's going to push some people.
Depending on his popularity. And to be honest, he's endorsed other people for school board, for other races. Not all of them have fared well. Okay, that's just the truth. He has not come out and officially endorsed anyone. Okay. But he definitely has leaned toward Keisha Lance Bottoms.
Okay.
He has leaned toward her. He has been involved with her race. She became an ally of Mayor Reed immediately. Yeah. Immediately. So I think he's going to reserve his official endorsement
until we get a little.
When we get further, and probably in a runoff.
Now, okay, do you anticipate how many people? Because some people's got to have to start trickling down. Because this is just entirely too many people in this race right now. When does that happen? When do you start kind of seeing again who's going to rise to the top?
When you don't have money. All right. So I think a few of these individuals are going to naturally drop out and throw their support behind other people.
Okay.
All right. And you have Senator Fort. Senator Fort, to me, is one of the most interesting candidates running because he came out of nowhere. He's raised a significant amount of money. Now, he hasn't raised as much as Woolard or Caesar Mitchell, but he's raised a lot. He raised $250,000 on an email virtually because of the Bernie Sanders supporters. And he's running a populist campaign. He is the only candidate running a very populist campaign. He's talking about decriminalizing marijuana. He, in the city of Atlanta, he's talking about income inequality. He's talking about making Atlanta an official sanctuary city. So he's running a populist campaign. And in the last poll, where Mary Norwood was at 28.6%, Vincent Fort was in second place amongst the top tier candidates with the least amount of money raised, but he was at about 10%. So she still has a commanding lead. However, Senator Fort was in second place.
Now, Mary, typically, when Mary is running for something, she is out on the streets, and she, you know, you can see her face with people in the community, and certain people are giving her hugs and those kind of things. Is that at this point what you think is kind of pushing her? Because again, she's not spending as much money as a lot of the other candidates.
Not spending as much money. She's a great engager. She engages in small crowds like nobody else. She has not been as active as some of the other candidates, but she is still very strong with her high name recognition that is continuing to push her. Elderly voters, senior citizens, they still love her. And as I said, you have people that thought she should have been mayor the first time. And you have some people who are regretting to some degree their vote for Mayor Kasim Reed because of the leadership stances he's taken on certain issues.
And some of the scandal that's gone on.
And the scandal is a dark cloud right now in the city of Atlanta.
Now, at this point, there's a lot of things going on in the city. There, you know, in Southwest Atlanta, there are a lot of carjackings at specific gas stations and all kinds of things. are people talking about what they want the issues to be? Are they saying yet, you know, I want somebody to start focusing on the crime in this area, or I want somebody to start talking about the economics in this area? Have those conversations started to happen in the communities?
Absolutely. So, you know, you have a special election for the newly formed city of South Fulton. They will deal with a lot of these issues of carjackings in that area. There's now a coordination between the district attorney and local law enforcement, because a lot of these carjackings were happening were coming from juveniles, very young people. There's a school of thought that says, you know, we need to crack down on these young people with more time in jail. I disagree with that personally. I think we need more wraparound services. I think we need more care. I think we need to be thoughtful about it so that we don't mess up a kid's life for the rest of their lives because of something stupid they did when they were 15, 16, or even 17 years of age.
Well, we're not talking about violent crimes, though. We're not talking
about violent crimes.
Exactly.
We're talking about they're running into cars when people are not looking, and they're stealing them.
Yeah.
Violent crimes are already very tough.
Yeah.
They're on the books. They're going to be applied in a tough way. We already have that.
Well, thank you so much, Rashad, for coming on. Now, you're going to come back and hang with us, maybe, you know, every 6 weeks, and kind of keep us up to date about what we should be paying attention to in terms of our local economy and our local politicians, because those things are really what makes a difference in the grand scheme of things.
It does, and I thank you so much for the opportunity. Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, you can look forward to learning everything that you need to know. And, you know, it's all about education. It's all about just figuring out what you should be paying attention to. There's so much going on. We can't always stay abreast of it on our own, and so sometimes we need a little help. We need somebody who's kind of in the trenches and in the community and, you know, being an activist all the time to kind of keep us up to date on what we should be paying attention to. It benefits all of us. It's all of our Atlanta, right? So take the opportunity to learn a little bit more. Tune in to Rashad Richey. He is on multiple platforms. You have all of his information right there. Please take the opportunity to check him out and check us out every week here on Focus Atlanta. We'll see you next time on Atlanta CW.